The story about Christian Horner, the boss of Red Bull Racing, getting more and more messy. There's an investigation going on about him doing bad things to a woman who works on his team. Red Bull, the big company, started looking into this. Christian has been the team leader since 2005. He finally showed up in public at a car launch event for the 2021 season on Thursday. Even though people in Formula One were talking and spreading rumors, he stayed in charge of the event. He didn't let anyone think he might quit his job. But just one day later, the whole story got much more dramatic. A newspaper called The Telegraph from Holland was the first to tell everyone about this problem on February 5th. Now, they made things worse by sharing more details. The Telegraph says they got their hands on text messages between Christian Horner and a woman who works at Red Bull. These messages show that Christian sent dirty and sexual messages to her for a long time. This shows us that he didn't just do this once or twice, he kept doing it over and over again. This makes the whole thing much more serious than just questions about how Christian leads his team or gets along with people at work. The investigation is now focusing heavily on these text messages. This means the problem is not just about how Christian does his job, but about much worse things he might have done in his personal behavior. According to The Telegraph, after the investigation started, Christian supposedly tried to fix the problem by offering a huge amount of money, $650,000 or $760,000. This offer was supposedly made by Christian's lawyers to the woman's representative. It seems like Christian was trying to pay the woman to keep her mouth shut about what happened. These text message conversations were written down and shown to Red Bull's rule-following department in February at the end of 2023. This led to them hiring a lawyer who doesn't work for the company to investigate everything. Motorsporttotal.com found out that there was a time when Christian could have quit his job in a nice way. This would have meant him stepping down and saying it was because of health problems. However, Christian believes he didn't do anything wrong, so he said no to this offer. But people close to Christian said that no one ever made this offer to him. On February 9th, he had to answer questions for over 9 hours from an investigating lawyer. During this long meeting, they showed him a big file of papers that had all the woman employees' complaints written down. The Telegraph has looked deeper into what Christian Horner is accused of doing. They claim they got to see what's inside the file that lists all the bad things he's supposed to have done. This is the first time the newspaper has told people exactly what Christian is accused of. Because of this, Christian has decided to take the newspaper to court, as reported by Motorsporttotal.com. However, Christian still completely says he didn't do these things and wants to keep his job at Red Bull. While talking to different news reporters at the car launch event on Thursday, he said, "Well, I think it's been very clear, and Red Bull's position has been that its business is normal. Of course, the accusations are a process that Red Bull is going through and have confirmed that process to the public. But obviously, there's a job to do. I completely deny the accusations that have been made, and my job obviously continues. I'm confident in the process and working with the process. I absolutely deny any accusation that has been made against me. And yeah, I'll just continue to work within that process until it's finished." He added these words to make his position clear while everyone is watching him closely. Some people who know what's going on also say the friendship between Horner and Jos Verstappen has been badly hurt. This controversial story first became big news in a Dutch newspaper, which only makes people think more about hidden problems and fights. But Horner talked about these rumors and said any claims about a power fight and supposed tensions with the Verstappen family weren't true. "No, that's not correct," Horner explained. "I was with Jos and Max a few days ago at Silverstone. Max is completely focused on his job, and he is very supportive." The three-time world champion Max Verstappen himself has also spoken up to stop any rumors of a fight between him and Horner. Talking to the reporters at the launch event, he said, "We've seen each other quite a few times. We've achieved a lot of things together, so that doesn't change suddenly." He said, "My contact with Christian has been the same as on the first day. It's been like normal." Speaking to other news reporters at the event, Max said, "For me, It's the same as always. I can tell you that I don't know who likes to write these things. But to me, Christian is like always. From my side, I am very focused on my own performance, to get ready, to be fit, to be ready to drive the car, to be discussing things with the engineers about what you want to do, he said. Plus, my life is not only Formula One. When I'm at home, I prefer not to think about Formula One too much outside of my planned training. There are a lot of things going on in the background for me also, what I want to do in the future, also from the video game side of things that I'm working on. So I'm busy enough at home. Red Bull Racing has chosen not to talk about the ongoing drama. They're staying quiet until the investigation is finished. Similarly, Jos Verstappen and Red Bull's racing consultant Helmut Marko have decided not to say much about the situation. The only thing Marko said publicly was on Thursday at the car launch event where he said, "I cannot say that," and nothing else at all on the subject. Marko responded when asked whether he will meet Horner at Red Bull Racing's factory. "As long as the investigation is ongoing or there is no outcome, you are not going to hear anything from me. This is an ongoing case. I hope we will soon be able to calm down the upset feelings." After the new accusations went public, Marko has also reportedly turned off his cell phone. The ongoing investigation into Christian Horner has put a dark cloud over Red Bull Racing's future working relationship with Ford. Ford is supposed to become the team's new engine supplier starting in 2026. With all this trouble going on, there's talk that Ford might think twice about its partnership because of the serious nature of what Christian is accused of doing. Ford is a huge company in the car-making industry worth $49 billion. They have big plans for an important partnership with Red Bull powertrains in Formula One. However, the good behavior and moral standards that Ford is proud of are now being questioned. Mark Rushbrook, the global head of Ford Performance Motorsport, talked about Ford's commitment to doing the right things during an event at Daytona International Speedway on Friday. He said that Ford holds itself and its partners to the highest moral standards, saying, "As a family company that holds itself to very high standards of behavior and doing the right thing, we expect the same from our partners. It appears to us, and what we've been told was that Red Bull is taking the situation very seriously, and of course, they are worried about their brand as well, and that's why they've got an independent investigation. And until we see what truth comes out of that, it is too early for us to comment on it." The timeline for the investigation into Christian Horner was first set with the hope of reaching a decision just before the Bahrain Grand Prix. However, because of these recent developments, Red Bull might look to reach an outcome a bit sooner than expected. They want to end the disruption as well as the uncertainty. The British newspaper The Times has reported on Red Bull's plan to speed up the ending of the investigation, seeking clarity on the matter. PlanetF1.com reached out to Red Bull for a response, but a spokesperson from Red Bull told them, "It would not be appropriate for us to comment before the investigation is completed." In the middle of the accusations and the ongoing investigation, Christian Horner has found a friend in Red Bull's majority stakeholder Chalem Uvidya. He owns 51% of the company. Uvidya's support is important, especially considering it outweighs the 49% stake held by Dietrich Mateskitz's son Mark Mateskitz. Unlike his late father, Mark reportedly isn't a huge fan of Horner. Liberty Media, the owner of Formula One, is also closely watching the developments surrounding Horner. Given how serious the accusations are and the cultural and moral standards that are common in the United States, Liberty Media is particularly focused on the issue and how it's being handled. Ralph Bach, a correspondent for Auto Bild, reported that F1 CEO Stefano Domenicali has been pushing Red Bull on this investigation. "Even the Americans are putting pressure on Red Bull," he revealed. Stefano Domenicali made a call to Mark Mateskitz because his bosses in the US asked him to. However, any official involvement of the FIA remains uncertain at this point. Typically, the FIA focuses on sporting and technical rule breaking. Should Horner be fired by Red Bull due to proven bad behavior, an official FIA investigation seems unlikely. So what do you think of these new accusations? Do you think Horner should step down himself? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with the latest Formula One news.